Yeah, I think this will work. This looks good. Real quick, as this project continues of disassembling this bike, it's getting harder and harder to frame a picture or a video to let you see that it is a bike, a motorcycle, um, because it's looking less and less like a motorcycle. The forks just came off. That's them over there. Uh, both of the forks and then the cover plates and then the top bracket that was up here. Not 100% sure how to get this guy off. I think it's these little nuts here, but I'll figure that out. Um, this process has been fun. I've been learning a lot, and I'm really excited about everything involved with it. I'm just having a blast. Um, but yeah, anyway, so my name is Josh. Um, I own a business called Things by Wings. It's woodworking and furniture design manufacturing, and do a lot of decor items. Um, and This channel is Life Beyond the Moss. And yeah, I'm so glad that you're here. And see, I've recorded several videos of trying to describe life beyond the moss, and I know what it means. I know what I want it to mean, but I don't know what this channel will become, so I don't want to limit it too much, you know. But I will give you a brief description of at least the inspiration that led to creating this channel and what I hope to convey and what I hope to accomplish moving forward. Um, so as I said, my name's Josh. My family, including my wife, our two pups, Penny and Sheldon, and my mom currently live here. We live on about 14 acres, 3 of which are our main yard and our driveway and such, and 11 acres which are woods and where we are making trails and such. Back in 2020, June 2020, it's actually June 26th, it was a Friday. Pretty sure that's the date. 26th, 27th, 28th, yeah. 29th was Monday. So yeah, the 26th of June 2020 is where the story sort of starts. We could rewind a few years before that to where my mom had her stroke and lost her left side. It was 2015 or 16. That's where the story officially starts. And then we fast forward a little bit, and she powered through. She recovered. She still lost her left side, but she is strong. She's independent, and she is a force to be reckoned with. She is kicking butt, and it's awesome. 10 years later, and she's still trucking, and she's still pushing. She still wants to live and make the most of life, and it's awesome to see her perseverance, especially given a lot of the struggle that we all faced over the last few years, which they were tough years. Yeah, in June of 2020, June 26th, Friday, my wife Amy and I, we were at our workshop in Jeanette, Pennsylvania. We had a commercial building, a 40 by 80 old brick building that was built in 1912. It was a cool spot, and we were able to buy it because our business expanded and we needed a place for our business to continue to grow. But we were up there, we were, I think, planning some boards down to make a big batch of flags to get ready for some big shows that we were expected and hoping to get into and continue to grow. Afterwards, we decided to go to lunch at an Italian restaurant and get some food and take it home to my mom, because my mom was home alone while my dad was at work. He was working security, and we wanted to make sure she got fed. So we got there in the evening. It was probably around 6 or so. Gave her some food. She said she had talked to my dad a little bit ago. He was a little weird. He said he was having some tingling in his fingers, didn't quite feel right. And if he still felt that way after his shift, he was gonna, call the ambulance or see about getting some help, see what's going on. And then I don't remember if she tried to call him or he called her again, and he was just acting really weird. Did call her, and then the call was disconnected. Then he wasn't answering the calls again. And we started getting a little concerned when she said that. So I tried to call him multiple times while my mom was calling him. We decided that we were going to go down to the school. Um, and we actually, when we got down there, we went immediately to the security desk. The security office didn't see him there. And um, we met with another security guard there, and they called the police, and they called actually the fire department to come and search the grounds to try to find him. And we ended up finding him in the basement of one of the buildings, and he was unresponsive. He had a seizure, and he did come to, and he was a little out of it, just kind of in a like a not 100% there type of state. But he did come to by the time that the ambulance came and got him. And they just had assumed that it was a seizure, but there was obviously something else going on, so we were going to take him to the hospital and see what was up. So my wife and I followed the ambulance a little bit later. We trailed behind them for a while because it was going to be a while for them to do anything. He got admitted into the ER, and they did some tests. We found out that night that he actually had a mass in his brain. Ended up being a glioblastoma, and they took about a golf ball sized tumor out the following Monday, June 29th. While he was in recovery, he stayed there, I think it was until Thursday or Friday. But while I was in recovery, I was on my computer. I was designing things for work or just searching stuff in general. My wife and I previously had been searching for houses or properties that maybe had more than one house on them, so that maybe we can move our parents or my parents, or move people together to take the stress off of people with as our parents were aging, as Amy's parents or my parents. We weren't 100% sure either way, whichever way it was going to go. And it was just more of like, the dream type of thing that you're looking at. We found the compounds that looked like they were from like some sort of religious cult or something, with like 10 houses on the grounds and stuff, or like at an amusement park or stuff, something from like Righteous Gemstones, where the Gemstones lived, where they had like different houses, and they also had an amusement park in their family compound, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so we had previously looked at that, and I was looking on Zillow, and I don't know what made me look at Zillow on that particular Wednesday, 2 days after his surgery. But I know for a fact it was that Wednesday. I saw this house popped up, and it was recommended by Zillow. I was like, oh, I'll check it out, yeah. And it was looking pretty cool. It was looking pretty good. It had a 2.5 or 3-car detached garage, and lots of land, big long driveway, private off of the main road. Has a wraparound porch on 3 sides with one side of it covered. That's our 4-season room. And the acreage, 3 acres plus 11 acres of woods. It sounds like paradise, especially for a woodworker to be living in the woods. That's amazing. And our 4-season room looks like a cabin, and so does our fireplace room, our second living room. So it's very much like living in a cabin for 365, like all year long. It's so cool. But yeah, like it sounded amazing. So I forwarded that to Amy, and I was like, "What do you think of this? This might be something that we might seriously want to consider, especially with what is currently happening." And like we'd be able to move our business there, and I could be there to make sure, if anything were to happen, that I would always be home to help, so that no one would be home alone. We discussed it a little bit, and then we brought it to the attention of my parents. We mentioned it to them. Amy and I first went and seen the house, I believe, on Saturday, and then all of us went up on Sunday to look at it. And then I think that following Monday we made an offer. It's the 4th of July, 3rd or 4th of July. But yeah, and then we moved in August of 2020. It was very fast paced, and it changed everything. Everything changed. Went from June 26th, working in our commercial building, our big shop that was, a half hour away from where we lived, to combining our house, our business, that whole building, and my parents' house into this. And it's not as simple as that, right? Because you're combining two households, four lives together. And at that time, we had our black lab Xena, um, and we all moved in, and it was fun. Like it's still fun. I still love it. I'm still very happy we did it. But it does create some rifts. Oh, 100%. I would be naive. Anybody would be naive to think that is not the case. Um, Immediately after moving here, and when we talked about moving here, we're like, well, we're going to have to build some sort of storage um, somewhere for all the stuff that's in our building in Jeanette. And I had discussed the possibility of getting some storage containers and then doing the roof rafters and making a sort of DIY barn with storage containers on the side. I'm sure you've seen pictures, or if you search like storage container barn DIY, it'll probably come up where you got a storage container, roof rafters, and then you can either leave the inside open or do whatever, or build to make the roof higher. Um, Part of me was like, yeah, that would look really cool. But I also like that doesn't fit. Like I want things to look nice and presentable and respectable, and I don't want, just because I live in the country, I don't want to have things be a mess and awry. I want to maintain a beautiful property. No, not for anybody else's benefit, but for my own. I want to enjoy the beauty of everything that surrounds me. So the first big step was to flatten out the area where our storage barn is now. And shortly after we moved in, we went to Kubota and we got a tractor, and it arrived in September. And then in October, there was a new gas station that was being put in about 10 minutes away from here. And they were excavating the location, and I got about 150 triaxles of fill over the course of 4 days. And it was like the perfect dirt, the perfect fill, and it was amazing. I had cut down a couple trees. I wish I would have cut down more before that, but I just didn't have time. Like I literally got the tractor, planned the thing, cleaned up the debris and stuff to plan out where I was going to be doing the fill. I extended the culvert that went under our driveway to make sure that the drainage could still continue on down. Um, and then, like while I was manipulating things on like a Saturday, I had a tire blowout, and I had to run out and get a new tire, put it on, and make sure that everything was okay. The Monday that trucks were starting to come, and no sooner did I get that tire put on, and then I refueled the tractor, and the first truck was here. I mean, it was just one thing after another, but it was a blast. I've put like 400 hours on that tractor, and 300 hours of it, engine hours of it, are um, mainly filling in over there and just moving dirt around. Once we put the barn in, there was like just an island of fill pretty much that the barn sat on, and then that expanded and has extended, and you know all the flat land that is around the barn is all new, and it's crazy to think that how much this property has changed in 5 years. I wanted to document it, and I did document some of it. I just There's probably hundreds of hours of footage that I don't know if I'm ever going to go through. If I ever hire an editor, I'm just going to throw a bunch of SD cards at him and be like, hey, make something that summarizes the prep of the land over there for the barn. um, but yeah, I could never, just with the craziness of life that was going on, I couldn't um, make anything with that footage. And that's part of what, led me with like these types of videos, that I want to have this just open discussion vlog, unedited, unscripted, where I'm just telling you about little things that are popping into my head, things that I'm struggling with, things that I'm battling. And there's going to be videos like that, and you're going to hear me talk about the same thing multiple times, because you can continuously have a breakthrough about the same thing, and it could take you multiple breakthroughs before you finally move on past something, but that memory is still always going to be there. And I think that's important too, to have that as an experience that's in your life that is still continuing to shape and mold who you are today. But all right, tangent aside, so we filled that in, and then in 2021 we put up the barn. It was finished in December of 2021. It was put up in August, and we just had to wait for our contractor to do the concrete pour inside. He just dragged his feet throughout the whole process. And it took some extra convincing to get him to do it. He wanted to charge us more than what our contract had included. We ended up not getting gutters on the building, but we got the concrete pad, which was like frustrations, but whatever. We're happy we had the storage. And then by the time, like as soon as we got it, within 3 months, it was full. Made shelves for lumber that we brought in from Jeanette, and filled the upstairs with the decoration items from both of our houses, and some storage of some extra stuff. A lot of the beekeeping stuff went up there. The beekeeping stuff that wasn't being used, and yeah, that thing was filled within a few months of it being finished. It was just crazy, and it was very apparent why we needed it, because obviously all that stuff wouldn't have fit anywhere else, either here or in the house. It's a 30 by 40 two-story barn with 8-foot ceilings upstairs and 11 or 12-foot downstairs. But yeah, so yeah, we did the barn in 2021, and then we'll rewind a little bit, because in November of 2020, we put in a driveway over here. It's 95 feet long, and it curves around to the back door of the house, that goes into the four-season room and into the kitchen. But that way, it's only 3 steps to get into the house, versus going up the front door, which is a long sidewalk that has multiple steps to get up it, and then 6 or 7 steps to go up the porch. That's a long way to go for my mom, and with my dad's condition as well, and as everybody is getting older, and then also with the weather, with ice and snow and stuff, we wanted to have an easy way to get into the house, so that's what we did. That we were just driving on the grass, because that's one of the things that we liked, whenever we saw the house, that we could just drive up right there and then add that driveway, and that has worked out just, superbly, stupendously superbly. The only thing I would change is make it a little bit wider, because in the truck I do go off of the driveway, in making the turn a little bit, but we have gravel along there now, and the eventual goal is to expand it a little bit more, maybe put just like a walkway along it or something like that, to make it a little bit better on that side, but we'll see. That's further down the line. So yeah, 2021, the barn, and then from 2022 onward, it was a lot of just of life, and the extra craziness. So the things I've told you, that's a lot to have happen, to get, to fill in a whole bunch of stuff over there, to put in a barn, put in a driveway, living life. As far as the amount of fill there, I would estimate at least 1,000 triaxles have come up our driveway to dump things in there, and it's been concrete and dirt, clay, shale, some big boulders and stuff. But I make sure to educate myself on how to do the fill, to make sure that I create a stable foundation, and I'm happy to say that nothing has sunk. Um, I'm sure there is everything shifts, but I haven't had any major failures over there, which is really good. Um, and everything was made sure that it was nice and stable before we did anything. So um, yeah, I couldn't be happier with how that has evolved. Um, I've made it big enough that we can park vehicles back there. We can add additional storage. We could probably build another 30 by 40 building behind it. And we probably will expand it a little bit, especially once we get an RV. If we get some other equipment, I'll want to have it covered. So it'll have to go back there. We'll make a little equipment shed or something back there. And when I say little, it'll be about the same size as the barn that's in front of it. But that's part of the journey of life. You never know where you're going to go, and you want to build bigger. That's what we did with that barn, and we filled it and then some. And now it is also an additional place to work. The wood planer, the wide belt sander is out there, or the drum sander, I guess you'd call it. But the big dust creating machines are out there. That's where I do a lot of welding and metal cutting and stuff out there. And eventually we'll have the plasma cutter out there too. So yeah, we planned big, and it's still not big enough. So, but that's good, right? You want life to exceed your wildest expectations, and we built as big as we conceivably could, or we wanted to, and then I was able to expand the land even further, and we will continue to improve. And who knows if we're going to be here long term? It's a place that we can see ourselves living long term, or things could change. You never know what could happen. But the goal is to continuously improve the property, improve the land, both for us to enjoy it and for the wildlife that surrounds us. And that was the goal when we first moved here. It was like, oh, it's plenty of land that we can make trails. We can move the honeybees here. We can do our beekeeping here. And life kind of, I won't say life had other plans. Life just took a different direction. I'll rewind from 2021 back to the beginning, because it was hard. The reason why we did the move was because my dad wasn't able to drive. Once you have a seizure, you can't drive for 6 months. Technically, you're supposed to have your license taken away, or they say it is taken away or whatever. You're not allowed to drive. But he also needed to have treatments. He was confirmed to have glioblastoma, brain cancer. He needed to have treatments, and he needed a way to get to those treatments. And it would be a lot for us to live where we live, to drive to his house, to pick him up, to take him, to bring him back, and that's a lot. And for him to do that, especially whenever he got to doing his daily treatments in 2021, there was a month and a half that he went down every day. Every day or every other day for radiation. We went to a hospital, and luckily we got the hospital in Monroeville, so it was about a 25-minute drive, but still, it was a lot. And yeah, that was every day. Sorry, it's been a lot. I don't know if that was every day or every other day, but it was very frequent. And he also did Tamidor, pill chemo was his first one that he did as well. But then around that treatment in 2021, we also did our New England trip. We went to Massachusetts whenever his treatment was done. We were able to go do that, which was a lot of fun. We took a week. We drove to New Jersey and then up along the coast and went to Massachusetts. We checked out the Wing Homestead in Sandwich, Massachusetts. And there's a Quaker church there. We checked out a cemetery, saw some of our ancestors' stones. And then we drove back down south. We went through, I think we came back down the coast. Then we headed across, went through like Syracuse, the Albany, New York area. We did check out Massachusetts a little bit while we were there. We went to Salem. We did some of the touristy stuff. We saw the Black Witch House. And my mom really likes Hocus Pocus and the witches and stuff like that. And we saw the Bewitched statue that was there. Uh, so that was a lot of fun. And then we just headed across New York, and then we headed back down south to home. And a couple months before that, we got our pups, Penny and Sheldon, because 6 months prior to that, our dog Xena, she passed away. She was just shy of 12 years old. She passed away in December of 2020. Um, and we found Penny and Sheldon. Um, and it was a really cool story because we like to show Big Bang Theory, and their entire litter was named after the Big Bang Theory. There was Penny, Sheldon, Stuart, Howard, and I guess there was a Raj. No, Leonard. They had a Leonard. There wasn't a Raj. They had a Stuart, but not a Raj, which is kind of surprising because they had like the core group, you know. But we got Sheldon and Penny. We knew we wanted a girl, and in every picture that we saw Penny, Sheldon was with her. So like they're already friends. It would be so mean to break them up. So I called them back. I was like, "Is the boy Sheldon available too?" And it was like, "Oh my God, we're gonna get two." But I was so happy that we got two. Um, we figured we had to land, and you know we're both dog people. We love dogs. Um, we can't be without them. And oh my God, these puppies are amazing. When we went to pick them up, the Alex, the lady that was the foster mom, she was like, "Oh, the pups won the lottery," and we're like, "No, we did. They're perfect. You know, they're so cute." We were told that they're pocket. They're not pocket. They each weigh close to 90 pounds. Penny is the Rottweiler, and she's a tank. She's a tank. She's definitely 90 pounds. And she's solid up here. And if she's running at you, you better move because she doesn't watch where she's going and she's going to take you out. Sheldon weighs about 80 pounds, but he's also like, he's light, limber. Like, I don't know where all the weight is on him because he's just so cuddly. He curls up so small and he cuddles the most. He's the most cuddly dog we know. And this video is getting long, and you know what? I'm covering a lot in this video, and I'm going to let this video roll out. I really wanted to just do a quick video, but it's turning into more of an introduction, and I'm okay with that. I'll let it roll out. I wanted to talk about something that I was feeling specifically with this bike, but I'll get to that in a second. I'm enjoying just telling you a little bit about the story of how we got here. So yeah, we got our pups in the summer of 2021, and we had the barn being built on like the fourth day or so of our New England trip. They had started the construction here, and it was Amish that had come to do the barn raising. They built it, and then they skinned it, and the steel put the doors up and everything. And then we had a little bit of a delay for the building. My dad did he did initial treatment whenever we first moved here, and then he also had a second tumor and he done some treatments. Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. My mind is misremembering things, I think, and that's one of the hard things about whenever you're going through a storm, things get jumbled up a little bit. His daily treatments were in 2020. Yeah, um, yeah, in 2020 they had to have been because it was after his surgery, and then they had to wait for it to heal up, and then they did he did radiation, and then he did the chemotherapy, which was the pill, and yeah, I'm sorry, I misremembered that. There was a lot going on. But yeah, that was 2020, and we were doing the move and stuff and getting used to things. And at that time, he was sort of active. Um, he was still interested in beekeeping and doing it mostly Yeah, he was helping me out a lot. Like I was doing the lifting and a lot of the work, but he was very present there and he was with me to do it. And it was a lot like I enjoyed that. I really did enjoy that. I enjoyed that bonding with him and sharing his hobby and his passion of beekeeping with him, and it was becoming um, a strong interest of mine as well. Um, but yeah, um, when we got the tractor, we started cutting some of the trails before we, while I was waiting for that dirt to come, and also in between that and while we were working towards the colder months, um, we started doing trails, and he, you know, helped me get over sort of my fear of being on the tractor and like saying, "No, you can keep coming, keep coming, keep coming." Oh wait, no, okay, stop. That type of thing. Um, he did not want to ride the tractor at all. He didn't. He never did. Um, he said that, it's like you got this. Like, oh, are you afraid? And he's like, no, I'm not allowed to drive. You know. But we had some fun. We did have some fun, some good times. One of my favorite pictures of him is actually him holding his granddaughter, um, just up here on the flat, shortly after we moved here, and he just had the biggest smile. My brother's daughter, Tegan Marley. But yeah, just right up there, he was holding her, and it's just good picture, good memory, and the happiest I've seen him, definitely here. So, yeah, after the first few months of living here, his mood sort of changed a little bit, and then in spring of 2021, um, cancer growth came back, and he had another tumor removed, same location, actually two two masses, and then he got treatments again. But shortly after coming out of the hospital for the surgery, he had a real bad infection and it started swelling up there, and we actually thought we were going to lose him for a minute there. And after that, he just wasn't really the same. He had sort of like a weird there was a weird moment there where they come in and they ask you who's president, where you're at, what's going on, who your family is, and stuff like that. The nurses have no idea. They're just looking for you to form questions, and if they actually had the information available, they would check it, which I don't know why they didn't. But yeah, I was sitting next to him, and they asked him questions, and he said, "Oh yeah, I have my granddaughter, she's in college, and this and something else, and my son's getting ready to retire," and it's like, what? you know, like, no, I'm your son. I'm not retired. I'm in my 30s. Your other son's in his 20s, and your oldest grandchild is 1 year old. Yeah, that's not real. Which opens up the realm of like a parallel world thing, and I do have some theories about that actually make some sense. I'll talk about that later. That's not a right now thing. No, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do have some strong beliefs in some things, and I can conceivably believe that we got a guy from a parallel universe, parallel world, and none of this was his, and that kind of helps things make sense because the guy that we had occasionally got things right, but nothing felt genuine. Um, but yeah, that's beside the point. So yeah, he got out of the hospital from there, and then life was just increasingly hard from there because he was not himself after that. He wasn't, and then he definitely became just comfortable with the notion of the cancer was going to kill him, and as time went on, he just began to act like he was just looking forward to it, you know, and that was hard. And I tried everything. I I tried getting him into physical therapy as things started to fail because he became one with our couch. Basically, he just sat in the couch and then melted into it, and would only get up whenever we um, either had doctor's appointments or we went bowling, because we went bowling every other week with a league, and and you could see like every week that when he would go, that he would just get progressively where he would, his walking was less, his movements of his arms were less. There was a period that he apparently broke or damaged something in here, but he never said anything to anybody, and no one ever noticed because he just sat on the couch um, and just never moved. But whenever I found out about that, we went to the proper doctor. They did the X-rays. They put him in a sling. Then he got in therapy. We tried every possible therapy for everything that he lost along the way. Um, I would take him to therapy. He would do the therapy there, but then never do it at home. And with physical therapy, especially, you have to do that 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, every single day on your own. And you're just going to therapy for them to make sure that you're doing it right, or to show you anything else to improve it, to monitor your progress, and to see how much longer you need physical therapy. But the last time that he was in therapy, he actually got fired because the therapist was like, "You're wasting everybody's time. You're wasting your son's time of him driving you out here." It was the therapy place was like 40 minutes away, but I was happy to do it if he was if it was helping him. But yet the therapist actually fired him. It's like, you're wasting my time because you're getting worse every time you come here, because you're not doing the things at home, and it's very apparent that you're not doing things at home. And it was really bad because at the end, the only therapy that he was really doing there was literally walking around in a circle. That's it. And it was about the same distance that it is to walk a circle around our house, our first floor. So it was definitely something that he could do very easily, and he just didn't do it. But yeah, that's what I struggled most with, was I was trying to shove life down his throat, and he wanted nothing to do with it. He wanted nothing to do with me. I hadn't had a real conversation with my dad since we had a little bit of conversations, on our trip to New England, but it was mostly distant. The last real conversation I had with him was probably around Christmas of 2020, and that's a hard reflection to realize too. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh no, it had just been a couple of years that it was rough, and no, it was pretty close to the entire time that we've been here. And I really do try not to talk ill of the dead, like I do, but this is also about self-preservation and self-improvement. I need to work through the things that are going on in my mind, and uh, that's a, the experience with him is a big part of that, of the struggles that I face, because there's a lot that is associated with that. So a sidebar would be that is one of the main things that led me to wanting to create the channel Life Beyond the Moss. I want to work through these things, the anxieties, the anger, the stress, the fear, the grief, everything that is associated with not just the last 5 years, but life in general, everyday life that has happened since he's passed, and the life that happened while he was here, everything in between, everything after, everything before. But we are a culmination of life, of little unexpected moments that happen, whether they're good or they're bad, they're great, they're extraordinary, or they're horrible. They're things that you wish on your worst enemy. Regardless, it's just a collection of those things, and it's our experience and how we handle those situations that continues to build upon and create the person that we are today. And the problem is that along the way, we compartmentalize things, or we store things away. If we have a bad experience, we store it away. We're like, oh, I'll deal with that later. And it's not something that we're doing consciously necessarily. It's our brain trying to process a situation. If it is too hard for us to process in the moment, our brain sort of shuts down to a degree and only lets us process, the information that we can in that moment. and it's a great survival mechanism, but that also hinders um, our, our process going forward, right? Like we find ourselves stuck in the past, or we find ourselves dealing with a trauma for lot longer than we think we should. Um, so yeah, it's hard to process those things, and um, I want to share my journey of struggling with those things. I'm going to share a lot of experiences, and I might share them over, like, while doing a project video or something like that, or it'd be something like this where I just ramble at you, and it might end up being a 40 or 50-minute video. I hope that you listen to it, because I hope that you get something from it. And that is the goal. Like, I want to work through these things for myself, because I do believe in talk therapy, even if you do just talk to yourself or just talk out loud, because I'm hearing what I'm saying, um, as well as I'm just putting it out there. I'm getting it out of my head, and I'm working through it every time I talk about it. Even whenever I talk about it in this setting in a video that is already at 41 minutes. um, but yeah, this is very important to me, and I know right now, like, I'm all over the place, and I hope to get better at that as far as like following a schedule. And I think I'm doing okay, or like a syllabus type of thing, an outline. I think I'm doing okay in this video, um, but I want to be able to have this transparent, open, unedited, raw connection where, yeah, I'm all over the place, but guess what? That's also life, and I'm sharing what's on my mind, and I don't want to edit it. I don't want to put fancy music over it, dress it up all crazy, because that's not real. It's not what's actually happening here. I'm a real human being. I'm struggling. I own a business with my wife. We make things. It's a lot of fun. We also have trails that we're making. We've been making them since we've got here. We're constantly expanding them. Our goal is to make this property better for us to enjoy it, um, but also better for the wildlife that's around us, whether that's with food plots or feeders, bird houses, bird feeders, and things of that nature. I want to eventually have cameras set up that are giving you 24-hour views of nature. If we put deer feeders up or squirrel feeders up like that, and have and wildlife cameras, even if it's not 24/7, we can just have it like an hour-long video of enjoying nature. We do already have a couple videos. I just have to maybe trim them down a little bit, or even just post them regardless, of doing walks on our trails. I want to share that, because I know there's people out there like my mom who cannot navigate trails, who cannot get out there and walk. We used to go hiking when I was a kid. My mom used to like that too, hiking in the woods and stuff. And I know people want to do that. Maybe you can't for whatever reason, an injury, or you lost a leg, or you're paralyzed or something like that. Living vicariously and being able to go through those journeys through somebody else's eyes, or through the lens of a point of view adventure. I want to share that type of thing. That's something I want to explore too. But my life isn't just one neat, tiny little bow. Like, it's not just working on motorcycles, because I'm not a motorcycle mechanic. No, this is something totally different. I'm not just a woodworker, I'm a homeowner. I'm a homeowner sort of in the country. I live in an area surrounded by woods. I enjoy the woods. I enjoy nature. I enjoy puppies. I enjoy living life with my wife and making great memories, going and exploring the world. We are looking to get an RV so that we can explore the world a little bit more, but also so that we can have a place to stay whenever we go to Shaker Woods in Ohio for the August festival that we own a building at, and we're a vendor for that entire event for the 3 weekends in August every year. And that's 3 weekends in August that we need to pay for like an Airbnb or for a hotel or something like that, or we drive back and forth like we did this year, and or this past year in 2025, and that was rough. That was rough, especially like Friday or like Saturday. You wake up at 4 o'clock to drive out there to make sure that you're up there by 8 o'clock for whenever it opens at 9, and then it closes at 5, so you want to hurry up and get home so that you can eat. Let the puppies outside because they've been in their crates for 12 hours. But they weren't in their crates; they were in the basement. Like we let them be free a little bit, you know. Um, but yeah, get them outside, get them fed, eat your dinner, go to sleep. You know, get things all ready for the next day. Charge the phones, charge the square, and then get things ready for the next day. Go to sleep and wake up and do it all over again for Sunday. And then you have a little bit of a break, but you're also making products and catching up and doing all those things to get ready for the next weekend. And it would be a lot easier if we had an RV because there is a spot up there that we can camp, and just to have like for those couple of days that we can have a place to stay, and it would be significantly cheaper than either renting a hotel or Airbnb, and it'd be a lot easier than driving back and forth. And if we had the RV, we can bring our pups with us and just make a little camping trip out of the whole weekend. So that's the goal, and we're hoping to do that soon. But we'll see because no matter how much you plan for things financially, little things pop up, and we've had a lot of that over the last year too. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't want to expand upon that, but I will end it there. I think that's a good place to stop. Um, give you a little bit of a view as to what life beyond the mosque is, what it actually means. Um, I'll go into more of that on a later date, whenever we're actually looking at some moss, so that we can talk about what moss actually is. But yeah, I really like the name. It's basically life beyond just the trails, or the struggle that you're currently facing. How do you get past those struggles? How do I get past those struggles? And I'm not a mental health professional. I'm I'm a business owner, and I'm a normal dude, sort of, a little bit crazy. I have a lot of things I'm working through, and a lot of things I'm struggling through, and I'm not perfect. I'm getting better though. I've lost 60 pounds in 2025. I've gotten a lot healthier, physically. I now go to the gym, um, on a regular basis. I meet with a trainer once a week. So my body's getting healthier. Um, Medically, I'm getting a lot healthier. My A1C is at 4.1, and for a diabetic, that is amazing. I am on Ozempic because I got on Ozempic because I was in diabetic ketoacidosis, and my pancreas was not creating insulin. And for whatever reason, um, it has started producing insulin again, and I was able to get off of the insulin injections, and that's mainly due to Ozempic. I don't know why or what happened or how it fixed it, but it did, and it also has helped me to lose weight, um, and to keep that weight off. And I feel amazing. I'm feeling better and better, every week, and it's great. And I'm glad, um, that I had the willingness to make changes whenever I needed to. And I'll talk more about that whole experience too. That was a big storm that happened in 2024, um, right after, shortly after my dad died. Well, my dad did die in July of 2024, and I miss him every day. I do. It was a hard struggle of trying to shove life down his throat. Yeah, and he fought every step of the way. Yeah, but I'm so glad that we decided to move all of us here, and I'm so glad that I get to see my mom every day. I get to have dinner with her every day. I was so glad that I was able to have dinner with my dad every day. With both my parents, for 4 years. It was a huge blessing. It was a hard struggle, and I have a lot of emotions that I'm still working through from all of it. But I would still do it, and I would still do it exactly the same, even though it nearly broke me many times. But I can't see myself doing anything any different because I really tried. everything I could, and I think that's that's all all we can do is give it our all to to help others. And I learned that I need to draw some lines, to not put all of myself into somebody to the point where I am living their life for them. But I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know that that is so dangerous if I hadn't done it myself. And me having lived through that experience, um, I now know that I can advise others to maybe not get as involved. And I think a quick way to sum that up without going too far into it in this video would be, if you know a loved one who is going through something, or a friend who is going through something, whether it's a medical thing, whether it's cancer, uh, alcoholism, or an addiction to something, or if they're just struggling hard, don't don't push them away, or don't distance yourself from them too far, but also don't get too close. And what do I mean by that? I mean simply that it's their fight, it's their struggle. They need to push through it and power through it for themselves. And they need to, if they want to live life, they need to live their own life, and they need to fight this fight. Because really, that's the only people that can. It has to be them. Don't give too much of yourself in the service of others. And don't allow yourself to be put in a position where others might inadvertently take advantage of you. And that's very easy to say, and I could explain that till I'm blue in the face, and I want to do a better job of explaining that, but not in this video. I just hope that that gives you a little bit of a hint and help if you are struggling with some similar situations in your life. So yeah, I thank you very much for sitting through this video. It's like an hour-long video, and nobody, it might be that nobody watches this, or somebody might watch this, and might say that I'm just rambling on and on and on, but this is my first video where I'm just sitting here talking to the camera, and this is the first video that I'm actually putting out there into the world about this. I wanted to talk a little bit about the bike, but instead it transformed into this, where I told you a little bit about life beyond the moss and how Things by Wings got here, how my family got here to this house in 2020. And Life Beyond the Moss will cover that whole journey from then up until now. We'll cover little bits and things along the way. I'll share them with you like this, or maybe voiceovers while walking through the woods and exploring, or maybe I'll have a reflection while out on the trail or something like that. But I look forward to sharing videos of walking the trails, of improving the trails, things that we do to improve the land for nature's sake and our own, improvements that we want to make to the house. And who knows what equipment we'll end up getting, because there's a lot of improvements I want to make, and I'm hoping to get some additional equipment beyond just the tractor to make things easier going forward, and hopefully I can lend some information for that. But for right now, my project is this: the disassembly of the Yamaha V-Star 650 Classic. It's a 2002. I'm not going to go too far into that any more than I already have, but if you would like to follow along and watch the disassembly of this and see a little bit more about what's going on with that, you can check out the Discord. The link is down in the description of this video. There's a channel there talking, or with the step-by-step dismantling of this bike, pictures every so often during the process, and sharing some ideas as far as what we could use specific parts of the bike for as far as projects. And be on the lookout for the time-lapse video of this disassembly, as well as another video describing the future of this series, Also on Discord, there's um, a gaming channel, a gaming project inspiration, where there's various items from video games that seem really cool that I wanna make. One of them being the giant Nuka-Cola lamps that are in Fallout 76. If you know, you know. But there's a Nuka-Cola quantum lamp, floor lamp, um, that's a base decor item. And ever since Fallout 76 came out and I saw that, I was like, oh, I want to make one of those. And I that was what, 2018 or 19, and I wanted to do it. It's been almost 10 years that I want to make it. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it soon. Um, Also, there's like the furnaces from Rust. I play Rust on PC, and the furnace is an item that has a billion different skins. I think it'd be cool to make a furnace and make it semi-functional as like a floor lamp type of thing with glowing embers, possibly some sulfur, some HQM, some metal frac pieces, actually making the little pieces and having them in there. But then also have the bottom of it be loot storage, maybe a liquor cabinet or a secret compartment for other loot as you would collect in Rust, right? And there's a billion other things that are in games that I do want to make. So the text channel is there for you. If there's something that you've seen in a video game that you think would be cool to make, maybe no one has made it yet, or you've seen other people make it, maybe that would be cool to make it out of wood or to 3D print it or to do a different type of medium. I'm open to exploring things. This is all about reigniting the creativity up here while also working through the hard things that are up here in a positive way and having a positive outcome from it. I will definitely be working through some things while I'm working on projects, and I'll be talking about those things. But the plus side being that I taken a dark situation or a dark problem that I'm facing and turn it into something hopefully beautiful or at least functional, or and if it ends up not being a success and like the project looks like garbage, we have a dumpster, so we can do that too. I joke slightly, but I'm excited about Life Beyond the Moss. I'm excited about this whole project overall. I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys not just the struggle, but also the wildlife and the nature trails, the projects like this, the little side things that don't necessarily fit the normal brand of Things by Wings, and doing the side projects, the behind the scenes, and then also sharing like this, giving you the real raw experience of me working through the daily struggles, or just reliving things, and hopefully spinning things with a positive light, so that hopefully I can help you or a friend or a loved one work through similar situations. Also on the Discord, I want to build a channel that is full of information, helpful information. So if you are going through something, whether it's addiction, or you're feeling down and depressed, or your family's feeling down and depressed, or maybe you're needing help coping with things or with grief, I want to build a database of that and have that information available to anybody. So that will be on Discord. Be on the lookout for that. It's I have a lot of things that I want to do. I really want to make a conscious effort to help others, whether you're dealing with similar things that I have or things that maybe even worse than what I've dealt with. I'm not naive. I know I haven't been through the worst of things, but I've been through a lot, and I hope to I really hope to at least help a little bit, or maybe give some coping mechanisms, help with some tools and some skills that I've learned over the years that have helped me to ground myself in the moment, and continue to push forward, because sometimes it is hard to talk yourself back from the ledge, but it's worth it. And if you are struggling, or if you know someone who is struggling, please don't hesitate. Call the suicide hotline. They're available for more than just suicide. If you're just feeling down and you need somebody to talk to, they're a great resource to call. Reach out to a friend or family member that that likes to listen. And you don't have to give them your whole story, but just give them a little bit, and Don't be afraid to talk it out with people, and you don't have to give them the whole story, but at least just get a little bit of it off your chest at a time, and you'll feel better. And if you don't, you need to reach out to somebody else. Don't be afraid to do it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to sharing more with you. This video is going up, and I don't know what it's at right now. My little timer went away. We're at an hour. That's cool. So yeah, an hour-long video. That's a great, nice long video. If nobody watches it, great. If everybody watches it, fantastic. I'm going to work on making the video shorter, but I also like them being long because, like I said, it's true. It's 100% unedited. This is uncut. This is just going up the way it is. And yeah, I'm glad that we were able to make a little introduction of Life Beyond the Moss, tied it in nicely with, you know, where this is all happening, and gave you a little bit of foundation as far as what to expect. And I don't know exactly what to expect with this channel. I hope it's going to grow and evolve, and I look forward to seeing where it goes from here. And I'm so grateful for you to be here watching this video and watching any videos in the future. Be sure to check out the description down below. Click on that Discord, join us there, join the conversation as far as what's going on with the bike, maybe game inspiration things. Be on the lookout for other information that's available that pops up there. Who knows where this will go? I do plan on eventually, adding, a bit about the business and stuff like that. If you have questions about the tools that I use or any of the processes as things continue, don't hesitate to ask in the comments down below, or on Discord and stuff like that. Like, I really look forward to establishing a community and connecting with you guys like this, one-on-one on Discord and other mediums in the future as well. We do have Facebook and Instagram. Do have a Patreon. I haven't decided 100% about everything with Patreon. So right now we're sticking with Discord as the primary content sharing. I like that it's free. You can have a Discord for free. You don't need to have Nitro to do anything, and you can have access to all the information, everything that's there. It just asks that you be respectful and you follow the rules, and and we'll have a great time over there. And yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks for your patience. I do have to say real quick, if you are thinking about, or maybe you already did, leave a negative comment, at least be creative, please. I've been called a lot of bad things, probably been called worse by more creative people. So don't just call me an asshole or a jerk or a jackass or something like that. Try to be a little bit more creative so that at least whenever I go to delete the comment, I get a little bit of a laugh, right? But seriously, I hope to keep the comment section nice and clean, constructive. I do like constructive criticism. Give me some tips about, what I'm doing wrong, what I could be doing better. Or, if you have questions about anything that I talked about, or if you have any tips or tricks or solutions or anything like that, anything that you'd like to add, maybe you have suggestions as far as projects that will come from parts from a bike, I'd love to hear it. Again, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to keep this from going any longer than this. It's been great talking to you. Thanks for listening. If you watched this entire video, thank you so much. If you've jumped around, I get it. I'm long-winded. It's been all over the place. I don't blame you one bit. I just appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to talking to you again. I look forward to sharing this with you, sharing building the projects that happen in the shop, going on the trails and doing all that stuff. I'm looking forward to it all. I'm very excited about this all, and I really appreciate you being here. I'll see you on Discord, or I'll see you in the next video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoy your weekend if it's the weekend, or enjoy your week if it's the week whenever you see this. Have a great day, morning, night, whatever it is. I hope it's amazing, and I hope your day is filled with excitement and love and joy and peace. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.